Welcome to Reality Theory, episode 15. I'm your host, Casey Gay McCalla. This episode is called What If Hunter Biden Was Black and Poor? Would he still be getting away with just a misdemeanor for his litany of charges he could have? Those familiar with the contents of Hunter Biden's laptops and his text messages show there's a litany of crimes you get charged for: federal crimes, state crimes, drug crimes, sex crimes, a lot. And a lot of these crimes, the drug crimes specifically, a lot of Black men were incarcerated for because of Hunter Biden's father, Joe Biden, who introduced the Coke v. Crack laws in the 80s and the infamous 93 crime bill. So these laws made it that people who did what Hunter Biden currently is showcasing on his text, on his laptop, were incarcerated for 5 years, 10 years, taken away from their family. And Hunter Biden does all these awful crimes and is flagrant about it. And now he is with a misdemeanor charge. So a lot of African Americans are imprisoned for drug charges, gun charges, and there's a fair amount of African Americans in jail for pimping, pandering, and there's a lot of African American females, poor white females, Latino females in jail for prostitution. Now, prostitution, it takes two to tango. There's not very many men who get in trouble for prostitution unless they're pimps. The customers tend to be able to get away with it. But Hunter Biden is a big time custody to the effect that he, under federal law, is a sex trafficker because he traffics women from state to state to be with them. So he is, by federal law, a sex trafficker, and there's no charges for that, no charges for the drugs, no charges. So let's take a look at who is in jail right now, right? Who's in jail for what? We have 55% of all crack users are white, and 37% of crack users are African American. Now, of course, African Americans are 12% to 13% of the population, so that means it's 3 times more likely to be using crack than the national average, but you still have 55% of all crack users are white, which is, when you add them up, you get 92. So you don't get too many Asians or Latinos smoking crack, according to these statistics. While African Americans may use crack more disproportionate than white people, I'd say this is a poverty issue because poor white people and poor Black people smoke crack. Rich Black people and rich white people might do cocaine. You don't get, exception of Whitney Houston, maybe once or twice, you don't get too many rich Black people smoking crack, with the exception of Hunter Biden. You don't get too many rich white people smoking crack. So Hunter Biden is way out of his demographic for being a crack smoker. Most rich white people use traditional powdered cocaine and pills. Now Hunter, he wants that crack. He wants the cheap hit. So white Americans are still the largest purchasers of crack cocaine. They're the least punished for it. African Americans are the most. 80% of people in jail on crack charges are Black, and white people are only 6% of incarcerated crack cocaine offenders, even though they're 55% of all the users. When it comes to powdered cocaine, the statistics slant towards Latinos. I guess a lot of cocaine comes from Latin America. A lot of Latin Americans become couriers of this cocaine. So a lot of people who are arrested for cocaine in the United States are Latino. So 60% of all people arrested for powdered cocaine are Latino. Black people are 27%, which is still twice their representation. They're 27. And 13% of all people in the United States are Black, and 27% of all people arrested for powdered cocaine are crack. So it's twice as likely. And white people, despite they are the majority users of crack cocaine, of powdered cocaine, are only 6% of people locked up for coke. When it comes to meth is really what you see white people locked up for. Still not proportionately, but way more than coke or crack. White people have 40% of all people sentenced for meth trafficking. Hispanic people, 46%. Again, a lot of meth is now coming from Mexico, so a lot of people who are selling meth get it from Mexicans and might be Mexican as well. So 46% of all people who traffic in meth are Black, and are 46% of all people who traffic in meth are Hispanic, and Black people only 10%, less than the national average of 13% when it comes to meth. Meth is not really too much of a black problem, and you got a lot of Hells Angels, and then a lot of the cartels are really controlling the meth trade these days. Meth's going on to the most drug arrests of all people, 40% compared to 13% for heroin, 7% of cocaine, and 20% of powder cocaine. So most people are the poorest people and a lot of the white people, the biggest majority of people arrested for drugs these days is meth. Very few people are arrested for pills. So white people, 60% of the population, only 6% for those trafficking cocaine, either crack or powder, only 15% for trafficking heroin, and overall, in traffic offense, 24% are white, 25% for black, and 48% Hispanic. So the most people going to jail actually are Hispanic Americans, and this is because of mostly the meth trade. 66% of all white people incarcerated for drug trafficking or selling meth, only 5% for selling cocaine. Meth is seen as a drug for poor white people. Prescription pills, it's like, have a major prescription pill epidemic. Twice as many people abuse prescription pills than cocaine. Only 2% of all drug traffickers were convicted for trafficking prescription pills versus 27% for cocaine. So as a lot of people know, Fetty Wap is the new drug. Fentanyl is killing people everywhere, here and there. So now that we kind of get an idea of how people are arrested for drugs and also sex trafficking, let's look at the many crimes of Hunter Biden. Let's go look through his text messages and see how many crimes we can find. So these are Hunter Biden's text messages. Share them. All right. So the first one, we have a drug deal. A lot of people get arrested for drugs. I've been arrested for buying weed. And luckily, I had no priors, so you could throw it out. So you can be arrested for buying drugs and not just selling drugs. And Hunter buys a lot of drugs. And what he also does is he distributes drugs. He doesn't sell them, but he has these parties with sex workers and he gives them drugs. So that's the same thing. Giving someone drugs is the same thing as selling drugs. So Hunter Biden is a drug distributor and could be charged just like any old person selling crack on the street because he gives away crack to his sex workers. All right, so here's him talking to one of his dealers. Meet me downtown at 6 and Olive Street, Nomad Hotel. I won't pay a thing unless I get double what he's been giving for the same price. I don't want to start arguing with him, so let me know if I've got it covered otherwise. Judge responds, waiting to get called to come pick it up. Probably around 6:30 or 7 once I get to you. I usually already have it, but I didn't this time. Had to have a guy whip it up. So whip it up is what you do with crack cocaine to turn the cocaine and the baking powder into crack. The dealer continues, picked up your stuff last night before the guy left, so just let us know. Picked up a lot of it, white boy said. Said it was okay to pick it up. Let me know when you want us to drop it off, bro. Heading out. Got to get back to the cliff. Thanks for having me over today. And then Hunter replies, I left room, BC. I told Mike, these girls are way young and I think maybe underage, and I'm not doing that. He was supposed to ask them to show they're over 21, but still hasn't called me or texted me. I love hanging out with you, buddy. Never have to thank me for what benefits me. Crack. Okay, so now this is a pimp. The pimp says, hey, buddy, you around? I want to hook you up for looking out, and I got that shitty ball. The kid made it, so I wanted to give you some better stuff. I enjoyed talking with you. I think you're a really nice guy. I felt bad. Don't get in that garbage for you freaking jerks anyways. If you're still around, give me a holler. How much you wanted? 400 worth. Fair amount of crack cocaine. And then the dealer says, coming to New Haven Avenue. I'll be there in about 10 minutes. I got that skinny bitch like you wanted, LOL. About 5 minutes. You don't have to give her any money. Partnering is enough for her. Watch this one. She's a hustler. So once again, he is giving these sex workers drugs, sometimes just as a payment for sex. Once again, this is distributing drugs. The same thing. If you give someone drugs for sex, it's the same thing as you're selling drugs. So in effect, Hunter Biden is trading drugs for sex, which is distributing crack cocaine. Then the pimp says, no, I meant I hear you, and she's a pain in the ass. The pimp says, I'm gonna loosen up for you, but hey, let's bat 1,000. That's what Hunter says. And then the dealer says, got to get her fucked up on B benzos. Now here Hunter says, I'm waiting for a $896,000 check to clear. What the fuck is their problem? Anyway, I'm amazed there is not a fucking rock left in the room, and which means we have gone through over an ounce. Way over an ounce. More like 35 G's, 35 grams. Crazy, man. Crazy costing me. So I think like 50 grams right now gives you maybe a 10-year sentence, and I think 5 grams to an ounce gives you a 5-year sentence under Obama, rather than Joe Biden, who had 1 gram give you 5 years of crack cocaine. So under his daddy's laws, 35 grams of crack cocaine would be 175 years in jail for 35 grams of crack cocaine, according to his dad's laws. Now, these are some disturbing texts regarding Hunter Biden and his sister-in-law slash lover, Hallie Biden. Her husband, Beau Biden, his brother died, and then he swooped in first as a protector, then as a lover for her. And then he became really abusive to her. I don't know how much is illegal under state laws. I think a lot of the texts he sent her are harassment, yeah, a lot of harassing texts. Some are threatening, and we'll get into him actually hacking into her phone, which is another federal crime, which he's conspiring to do in a later text. So he says, this is all about his crazy CIA life. I'm just putting this in here. You're right, Hallie, and I find myself, because I've chosen to alienate all my friends and family and employees, and you and the kids, etc. Very alone in dealing with rebuilding an income that can support an enormous alimony and my kids' costs, and myself dealing with the aftermath of the abduction and most likely assassination. That's what the New York Times suspect of my business partner, the richest man in the world. I think he's a Chinese guy. The arrest and conviction of my client, the chief of intelligence of the People's Republic of China by the U.S. government, the retaliation of the Chinese, and ouster and arrest of U.S. suspected CIA operatives inside China, my suspected involvement in brokering a deal with Vladimir Putin directly for the largest sale of oil gas assets inside Russia and China, a tax bill that Eric left hanging over my business, and my dad's running for president. So this is a lot of crazy stuff we're going to digest right here. His client is the chief of intelligence of China, so of the Chinese CIA. So he's working with the Chinese CIA. I don't know if that's a conflict of interest between countries. And then I guess his other Chinese business partner, who thought was assassinated. And then he's worried, I don't know if he's CIA, but the Chinese people are going after CIA operatives in China. And I guess he's making a deal with Vladimir Putin. So all these people are supposedly America's enemies: Vladimir Putin, China, and Hunter Biden seems to be making deals with them. So that is disturbing on a kind of political level of his text, but he has some texts which are very disturbing on a sexual level, not only in terms of sex trafficking, but there's a lot of allegations in these text messages that he was molesting and or sexually inappropriate with an underage family member. And here are his texts to Hallie. This is his lover slash sister-in-law. One thing though, Hallie, if you keep turning underage family member against me, I could care less about your anyone except Hunter, who I believe is his nephew. You will truly either break me or make me a very strong and vengeful man. Try to remember that. So he says Strom. Now, Strom Thurmond was a child molester who impregnated his black maid. And he was also a very good friend of Joe Biden. So I don't know if he is referring to himself as Strom, who he probably knew because that was his dad's best friend, or this is a typo and he's meant to say Strom. But I guess he probably says Strom a lot, even if it was a typo that would redirect to capital Strom. All right, so he says, Hallie, go ahead and talk to him, but only with me present. The last time I let you speak, To my therapist, you told them I was sexually inappropriate with underage family member. I told Keith about that also, and he said, and you did not immediately get out of the relationship. That's a line if you cross, and the consequence is you are labeled a child molester. That's a line brighter than throwing a gun in a full trash can in a busy grocery store, and then some kid blows his sister's head off, and you go to prison for the rest of your life, Hallie. What is that made you feel justified? This call me a liar and saying my way would never work. And that I asked too much of you. So there's definitely allegations that he is being sexually inappropriate with an underage family member. And the whole thing about the gun is funny. So he, again, part of I think his plea deals includes them getting rid of his gun charges, which I think he illegally got a gun when he was a drug addict, knew he was a drug addict. But I think his gun was so much of a problem that his sister-in-law / lover tried to throw it away in a trash can in a grocery store. And Hunter is thinking the worst thing is that some kid's going to dive into that trash can, take his loaded gun, figure out how to use it, kill his sister, and then implicate Hallie when he's like clearly the problematic one. And there's so many harassing texts between Hunter. He's really a mean-spirited, not likable guy. Like there's, it's not just him being an addict, but he's really mean to this poor woman. So here's him again. He was saying, Alex. So this is actually a moment where he apologizes and kind of comes clean. I don't know how clean. He says, "Nothing you've done is wrong, Hallie, but let me seduce you into being irresponsible. That's all on me. You are not to blame for any of this. And they live you, Hallie. And underage family member knows, especially now, that I've been the awful one here. I can't believe she cares anymore. You're right to keep her from me." So he was banned from being alone with this underage family member because of allegations of him being sexually appropriate by a number of members of his family. So I think here he is talking to another sister-in-law. Or this is Hallie's sister, Liz. And he says to her, "What does she think, Liz? She can blatantly lie, tell people things like he's ruining my credit, he owes me money, I paid $100,000, he was drunk and high on crack, and paid $42,000. It's all his bills. He's inappropriate with underage family members. He FaceTimes everyone naked. Wow, what an embarrassment he is. He clearly can't be around my children." And I think that's a general consensus, not only because he's a drug addict who smokes crack around children and is naked around children, which is, I don't know if it's illegal, but I think that's enough reason to have you separated from being a parent, or especially if this isn't your biological child and you are walking around naked and smoking crack. I know like the N-word is a big trigger warning for a lot of people. So just warning that Hunter Biden does use the N-word callously. And I know a lot of people have been canceled for using the N-word. Not that Hunter Biden is in any position to be canceled, but just thought world would like to know that Hunter Biden uses the N-word. Okay. So he texts his lawyer, George, "OMG, nigga, did you just a fictional character from the imagination of the collective frightened, and my dead brother's unconditional love is what I should rely on, and my kids aren't children, George?" George says, "My parents' love was conditioned." And Hunter says, "My penis of late has been unconditional. That's why we are searching, and we were always searching. For my penis, it's big, George. They always find it. I only love you because you're black." Now, his lawyer is not black. I don't know why he's calling him the N-word and referring to him as black. I don't know if this is cultural appropriation and racism, or he's not using the hard R, but it's definitely bad. So here's another example of him soliciting prostitutes, which is, again, a crime, not necessarily a federal crime, but we're going to get into his federal crime. He said, "Who is available? I'm in NYC. I will wire you the $2,500, but call me first." Madam says, "Send 3 now, and then I'll send you, girl. Honey, I don't even know you one. What's the math? Regardless, I'll send you 6 now, and you send me, girl, for 6 hours. Does that work? Love you so much. 5 hours. I don't have Julia. She left, so he doesn't have his favorite." So here's another example of him soliciting prostitutes and drugs at the same time. The pimp says, "Hey, bro, give me a call. I came to your room in Hampton yesterday when Crystal called me. Give me a call. I got something for you. How long you want her for? The money goes to me and up pay her. You want me to bring Diana? Anyone else around? New skinny? Hunter says, I can call around. Didn't like Diana, huh? No, she was real cool, except for she went out for 15 minutes and came back 4 hours later. Don't say anything to her. It's all cool in the dashes. All about doing right by you. She left the date, the pimp says. I'm sorry. She's usually more professional than that. It's cool, buddy. I'll fill you in when you get here. Really, she is super cool and super laid back and was totally fair and fun. I'm just looking for something new, G. Got you. I can't even stay true to an escort. You like Puerto Rican chicks? The pimp asked. Yes, I especially like chicks that can be here in 15 minutes. Now, this is a crazy text. Make hard to decipher it. Fucking crazy. Are you fucking crazy? Me for days. Sorry. Fucking crazy. Are you fucking kidding me? For days. She hasn't slept at all in 4 days. Yeah, she overdosing. I behave a video of it. She took a cab, Lee. Now the guy was with her and $800. Come right now. He's with her right now. My phone died. Someone should check other dude. Got it. Where is she? And is she crazy? Bad crazy. I'll take good crazy. I think this is a prostitute who's took Hunter's phone and she is texting her pimp now because it continues on like this. So I think there's 2 prostitutes with him, and one of these prostitutes hasn't slept in over days and he's overdosing, and she has a video of it. And then one other guy came because it continues like this. It's me, Crystal. That's the sex worker. You gonna be able to take me home still? Yeah, says the pimp. The bitch just took a picture of me and Hunter. She's bugging the fuck out. Who? Yo, it's Crystal. Inbox me back. Yo. He want to know, do you got different stuff? Yo, text me on Facebook. Didn't text on FB, and I'm going to redo it. Where is she? She said the cops came to the room. WTF, man. I went to the bank. So here's another example of Hunter Biden trying to get up with a pimp and making terrorist threats to hurt someone, have someone killed. So he says, buddy, where are you? Pimp says, at Marquis. I'm outside. Ask for Jimmy. Say, Frankie, where are you? I did. They said, fuck you. I did. They said, fuck you. And he literally hear me physically out right in front. What does it say? Nothing. Fucking took me by the neck and threw me on the ground front. I'm going to kill this guy. I mean it, Frankie. I will have him killed. So this is a terroristic threat. I don't know if this guy was killed or ever hurt, but I think the FBI should look into it. It says, bro, I need you to set this straight. I know you don't believe me, but let me say once again, if I make this call, you can make right now. No one is going to spare a word of hurt, a world of hurt. There's no threat to you. I believe you, but I know that you can make this right before this place becomes a police state. I only have one option left if you can't help. So please convince this moron to return my shit, or I promise she'll be in prison when her 6-year-old son turns 30. No joke, brother. Tell her to send my truck and all is good and I'll take care of you. You can have my word on that. All right. So here is an example of 2 federal crimes from Hunter Biden. One is sex trafficking from state to state. You can't traffic sex workers for the purpose of prostitution from one state to another, crossing state lines. That's a federal crime. And we have an example right here of Hunter Biden paying for 3 sex workers to come visit him from Massachusetts, from where I'm from, to New York, which is where I lived for many years. So this is Hunter Biden. Send me names and go to station. This is not rocket science. Wells Fargo is not denying card. I spoke to them twice. Sorry if I seem frustrating, but I'm dealing with a family emergency right now too, and I promise that you guys can figure this out if you can give my card to work for some reason. Then you have $600 for 400 bucks, whatever it is, I swear to Christ, I'm like, sure, you get 500 bucks back or 700 bucks back. All right, I promise. Okay, not a problem if it gets too late. Vanessa, the sex worker, says, should I go to train station? I'm packed. Are you getting the tickets? Hunter says, is my fiance on the train? Can we consummate our relationship, please? The 3 of plus that is. Thank you. I just looked at my email. Her name is not Brittany G is with me. Who's Brittany G? Your child bride. So he has a child bride. I don't know if this is a underage girl or just a young looking or young acting woman. So that's federal crime number 1. Here's federal crime number 2, which is conspiring to hack his lover / sister-in-law's phone, which if you look at a lot of his other text messages, pretty clear he did find a way to hack into Hallie Biden's phone. So the sex worker says, just waking up, XOXO, about today, big hugs. And I saw your text and that pic of Hallie. I have proof it's her. I can send the pic if you want, but I know it's already a tough day for you. I just don't like her playing innocent, but doing whole shit and playing the victim and call you crazy. I'm going to see if my brother can get into her phone records. I'll open her phone up, make her give me codes. I don't need to harm her, but that mob shit, I'll only do it for you because I'm tired of her playing you like some crazy crack when in reality you're so smart. You are the smartest lawyer I know. Crack doesn't defy someone. I think she means define. Actions do. Well, your actions when you're on crack also define you, especially if you're paying sex workers and you're giving them crack cocaine and you're possibly abusing underage family members. Okay, and then she says, I'll open up her phone, make her give me codes. I don't need to harm her. Only does it, okay, because, okay, no. And then he says, well, there are easy ways of getting info. Cracking her phone should be easy. No prob. Shit, please. All right. So now we have examples of a lot of crimes that Hunter Biden did: soliciting prostitutes, distributing crack cocaine, engaging in sex trafficking over state lines, which is a federal crime, and conspiring and actually hacking into people's cell phones. These are all federal crimes, yet he was not charged with any of these. There's all blanks out there. And a lot of these crimes, especially distributing crack cocaine, a lot of African-American men back in the mid-'80s to mid-'90s were incarcerated for crack cocaine and still are today for doing a lot less of crack cocaine. That is what is clearly evident in Hunter Biden's text messages and the laptops. There's a lot of women in jail for prostitution, for doing, I think prostitution is an equal opportunity thing. It requires 2 people. They should be punished equally. So if you have females in jail for prostitution when they get caught engaged in prostitution, you would think that males and their customers should be also incarcerated for prostitution. So there you have another crime. So these are just regular crimes. And then you have the 2 big federal crimes. And so why isn't Hunter Biden? Obviously, it's because his dad is the president and he has political protection. And it's really ironic that his dad was the guy who incarcerated so many Black men for crack cocaine, and then his own son starts using an amazing amount of crack cocaine and makes it public to the world, and now he has to be the world's biggest hypocrite and not punish his own son. So yeah, thanks for watching. What if Hunter Biden was Black and poor? He would be in jail. They would throw away the key. Would not even be funny. Would not even be cool. This is a sign of not only the disparity of, I would say, class as much as race, because there are a lot of poor white people in jail for drugs, especially meth. But class, race, and the hypocrisy of our elite who make the laws versus the working class people who pay taxes and have to feel the brunt of the laws. So this reality theory, episode 15. What if Hunter Biden was Black? Like, subscribe to the channel, post it on Twitter, post it on Facebook, put it in your group chats, let your friends know all this good information. Post it in your favorite subreddit. And I am out. Peace.